Ready for a start. Sloane Frost missed the start of the last race. Unfortunately, he had a problem with the front brake. Worked that out in the warm-up lap and had to start from pit lane. So Sloane Frost was the fastest man on the track yesterday's Superbike race here at Manfield Park. And out back there on the Fujitsu-sponsored Suzuki GSXR 1000. Tony Rees there in second place. And I think that might be James Smith out there that is in the lead at the moment. Is that James Smith? Yes, it is. James Smith had a leader for a lot of the race yesterday. Tony Rees led for a lot of the race. So it is Smith, Rees, followed by Sloane Frost, and then we have the RGM Motorsport sponsored bike of young Hayden Fitzgerald. Well, he's not that young anymore, he's been around for a while. Jaden Hassan in fifth place. Jaden had a spectacular win here yesterday. Look out for the man on 56 bike in sixth place, and that's the local man, Craig Shuris. Has had a bit of a lacklustre season, but was very, very fast here in practice on the Friday, so hopefully he can sort of come and show us what he's absolutely capable of here at Manfield for the Superbike racing.
And in fact, it was at this event, of course, 3 years ago where he took his first ever win here in front on a beautiful Super Sunday at the beginning of April. And what a big crowd in for that day. And man, oh man, they just went off when it was Craig Shearer. So we wish him all the best for a return to racing. Made lots of changes this year, and you can say that potentially it's like a season starting all over again for Craig. So hopefully he really can sort it all out. And he too, alongside those supported in the industry in the air conditioning game, which of course is a huge commodity in the world today, with virtually now every house building, apartment, shed taking on air conditioning. But James Smith, Tony Rees, Honda won too. Well, I think Adam Chambers, Spider, has set a bit of a scene today because Honda, and welcome to our Honda supporters here today, and they've got a pit box down here that they'll be having. They've got some of their big sponsors on board with them today, plus some of the dealers and top customers. So it's a big weekend for Honda to incorporate this final round of the Bridgestone Superbike Road Race Championships. But wow, indeed, what about some glory? And we've already seen that with Adam Chambers in our Supersport. And now here we go with a Quinella. James Smith and Tony Rees. When was the last time we had two of these awesome Hondas up at the front? And certainly they've really been growing and developing during the season. We've seen how well Jeremy Holmes has done alongside them as well. So fantastic to see for a brand that's putting a lot in behind the sport and getting some reward for it as well. But James Smith to lead them. We go all the way back to Timaru Spider in January to that win of James Smith, and what a very honourable one it was too, and probably a rider that got more applause than I think I've seen from anybody else to have taken a Superbike win in New Zealand in a long time. So popular amongst his peers, popular amongst the crowd and supporters. So James Smith, and doing it, and look at that, holding the buffer as well. So just when we thought he might have been peeling in the back, good work out there. But we have seen the change for second place there, Spider.
Definitely Hayden Fitzgerald is the fastest man on the track, it is showing. But I'll tell you how hot the Superbike field is. Sitting there in 7th and 8th place are Dennis Charlotte and Scotty Moyer. Now, who are they? Well, Scotty Moyer is on the oldest bike in the field, but took a win in a lap record at the Taupo Motorsport Park last weekend. And Dennis Charlotte had a number of wins down the south on almost a clean slate, and the man currently leading the New Zealand points table. But they're sitting down there in 7th and 8th place. So this just shows you how hard it is to set up bikes from one to track. Take a look also in 6th place there is the 41 machine on the home buyers reports. GSXR 1000 Jaden Hassan took a Superbike win yesterday, and that is just sensational for a man that was very, very quick on the 600s and is now coming to grips with the big Superbike. So it is still James Smith. Now, James Smith had a crash at Taupo last weekend and is carrying an injured leg, so his plan yesterday and today was to get out there and put in a few hard laps there and try and maintain a bit of a break from the field, so when his leg gets sore and tired, and it is his left-hand gear-changing leg, and he said with a lame leg there on a Superbike, you really can't ride it very well. Well, if that's not riding very well, mate, I don't know what is. It's number 6, Hayden Fitzgerald, still the quickest man in second place. Tony Rees is still there in third place. Linda McGee having a bit of a battle on there and has been fighting, and he's had a bit of gremlins this weekend at Manfield with bike set up. So we hopefully Linda McGee, and you can see him there starting to reel in Dennis Charlotte there. Linda McGee has moved up and is in 9th place on the track ahead of the Australian pairing Phil and Sophie Lovett on the Kawasaki ZX-10s.
And of course the scene of the crime, as it were, here, Spider, because it was Lyndon that had that huge crash at the Suzuki Series round number 2 here on a super sunny Sunday in December last year. So wishing him all the best for a great return to Manfield. So Linda McGee back again on the course, Team Moggy Motorsport Valvoline supported BMW Superbike. So good work out there. James Smith, Hayden Fitzgerald and Tony Rees, and looking at that at the moment. Wow, the exhaust, that's the exhaust gone, and you'll pick up which bike it is next time by the noise of it, and it is just the dry debris in there. Shouldn't have had anything, although potentially if that's come out, maybe the back baffle and and some screws, or it might be as well.
Yeah,
so
that is off, but it's off the yellow line. So the oil debris flag is out on the start-finish line. Looking out at lap times at the moment, we've got a lot of the riders in the 6s. In fact, we've got 106s right through to 11th place there, but there's few of them in the 5s. We've got the top 4 there in the 5s. In 7th place, Scotty Moyer on the Moto TT sponsored machine there is running in the 5s. You can see him on the track there. In fact, I think he's right in. He's dispatched Dennis Charlotte there, and he's right in there on the tail of number 41, Jaden Hassan there. Out in the front, the dice is going on for the lead. The big Suzuki seems to be a little bit longer down that back straight and has closed up the gap over and above 77. James Smith on the Waimate March here, sponsored Honda CBR 1000, also sponsored by Castrol amongst others, but definitely the lead changes come along. Hayden Fitzgerald up on the inside, Cup on the inside, can he stick with it? But no, James Smith has just got that little bit of a corner speed, entry speed there, lets the brakes off a little bit better and rides around the outside, and in a good solid third place is one of the oldest fellas in the sport out there, number 11, Tony Rees. Sloane Frost is trying to make a move on Tony Rees there. Craig Sheriffs is moving up there. He's pretty quick. He's also in the 5s as well. So 6 out of the top 7 riders in the 5s. The lap record, I think, is about 5 years old here and is set, and that's in the 4s somewhere along the line. So no lap record disappearing for that. Did we find out whose baffle it was?
No, I didn't pick that one up, Spider, but what we have picked up is that a terrible qualifying run here yesterday for Scott Moyer. So his Glory of Taupo a little unravelled and a bad luck to qualify yesterday. So he's finding himself well back on the row in about 9th place. So he's got to do a lot of hard work. He's got himself to 7th, so he's gone past 2. But when you don't get a start on Superbikes, even though you might have been the TT champion from last weekend, and congratulations, features in a fantastic photo on the front page of the Taupo Times local newspaper in Taupo as well. So great to watch, and there we go, Spider.
P is going to get a black flag this lap. It looks like that's his muffler out there, and of course with the stringent noise controls at Manfield, I see the black flag coming out for the letter P, so he may have already worked this out. Unfortunately, that was his muffler or baffle. It just blew the guts out it completely, so it'll sound like an earth-moving machine on the Cessnock earth-moving Australian machine. So out in the front there, Hayden Fitzgerald, still the quickest on the chap. It is James Smith as they go through the S's, probably 6 or 7 bike lengths. Same distance down to 3rd place, and that's Tony Rees. Sloane Frost is a man that's on fire as well, and closing up in behind them in 5th place is who's that? It's Scotty Moyer. Scotty Moyer, 5th place is no, it is Craig Sheriffs. Sorry, Craig Sheriffs has been changing his leathers colour. There's Scotty Moyer closing in on number 41 there. Jaden Hassan there as they go around Higgins. Bit of bad luck yesterday in the practice yesterday. Scotty Moyer had a crash here, so change for the lead going up there, change for the lead. That's unusual. Hayden Fitzgerald runs in the braking, runs round the outside. Normally the best braking position here at Manfield Park off that back straight is on the inside, but Hayden, they bump on the front straight, mate. Oh! Wow.
Was it what? You saw James, he had the line, he was coming back, he was attacking because you realised that Hayden Fitzgerald had overrun to the corner, so he'd gone wide. James realised his opportunity was up on the inside. The pair of that Honda saw him nab the inside, and all of a sudden he was there in the position as we then saw Hayden go to move over, and it was James that had it, so he's regained it. James, now look at that, that has drawn it right up. I tell you what, this is the Craig Sheriff show. Watch for Craig Sheriffs. Could he be the one putting in the fastest time? We had 3 riders, then we had 4, now we've got 5 and a slight gap back, 6 and 7. There's only a short gap between that 6 and 7th. Want to do a nice high out there for Sophie and Father Phil. There they are, our lovely Australians, although of course Sophie now calling herself a Kiwi on board here with New Zealand Road Racing while she's working under contract in Auckland. So well done to Sophie. So Dad's come over as well, and with Dad having the blown muffler, he's struggling there to keep up with the performance. So daughter Sophie leading Super Dad Phil out of Australia. So good work both on their Kawasaki's there. But as we look for the front again and just look for those changes, will it be the same again? And it has been all the good work done by Hayden. And here comes James again. Can he get up through on the inside again? No, it will be Hayden. Hayden Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald to hold it back to Smith. Then to Rees. Then go back to Chopper Frost. Just when we thought Chopper was doing the good work. And then we've got Craig Sheriffs in there. Much improved fit from him. Jaden Hassan. Scott Moyer still in that 7th place from Linda McGee. Dennis Charlton back there. So Dennis, wow, some work to do for Dennis. Dennis Charlotte, ladies and gentlemen, the man who's leading the points, 9th place. I don't think he's going to be in any way upset with it, but I just get the idea maybe things not quite so perfect for Dennis out there at the moment. But hey, he's holding it, and in 9th place, look, he's keeping out of traffic. He's educated himself as to where he wants to be. Phil Lovett has pulled out. He has pulled out now, so he's done the honourable thing. A bit noisy, but more importantly, still throwing a bit of debris out the back there. But Spider, this one is not over and won't be till the checkered flag.
Oh, definitely not. And I've seen 2 or 3 passes in that top 5 riders in the last just half a lap there. So the big flyer there, I think, is Sloane Frost coming through. Sloane Frost, yes, takes it in and passes Tony Rees in for second place. So he's eyeing up the front man, Hayden Fitzgerald. So where's James Smith? James Smith has slipped back to fourth spot. That's Craig Sheriffson behind there. Jaden Hassan, yesterday's race winner there. And coming into the pits, it looks like to be Scotty Moyer as well. Bugger, Scotty Moyer out, the winner last weekend at one of the races and lap record holder. So let's get out to it. Jaden Hassan makes the big move on the inside. Whoa, it didn't work. He tried to pass two riders there, but too tight in there.
Change for the lead for Chopper. Here's Chopper. Look at that, Chopper just 2 laps ago was in fourth place. He's now gone for the lead. There it is, number 4, Chopper. We still call him that, and I see his number plate does as well. That was the nickname that was given to the young man from Northern that we followed in motocross those 20 plus years ago, and now to see what he's done in New Zealand road racing has been exceptional. Great experience, and well done to his excellence over in Australia at the recent support racing while the World Supers were at Phillip Island. So well done to Chopper, and he's come back to Manfield. This is now the track he calls home, of course, when he started back in road racing. He then shifted to Wellington, and now that he's up here, a member of the Victoria Club, so well done. And look at that, already pulling out a buffer. So this is him fighting back and fighting back well indeed. So he's overtaken Hayden Fitzgerald. Tony Rees is back there looking out for Craig Sheriffs, and still, in fact, it's now in 8th place for Dennis Charlotte. So that's that top group, but still any one of these, Spider.
Oh, definitely, and Craig Sheriffs is a man on the move there. We saw him trying up into the inside of Tony Rees. Now, this will be the best finish this season. Unfortunately, tyre problems down the South Island. Saw him at one race, finished second to last, which is pretty uncharacteristic of the man. It's second in the history at the Cemetery Circuit with most wins behind Robert Holden. 23 wins on the legendary Cemetery Circuit. A couple of Superbike wins. A man that's been on fire. He looks like he's back on fire there, and he's hunting down Tony Rees, but out in the front, it's a Fujitsu-sponsored TSS Red Baron machine of Sloane Frost. The number 4, he wears the number 4 because he was 4th in the New Zealand Championship last year. He's currently lying in 4th, but he's reeling in Scotty Moyer, who is a DNF this race. Pulled in there, and must have machine problems, but it is. Breaking away from the field is Sloane Frost, despite Hayden Fitzgerald being the fastest man on the track.
In fact,
just 2 laps to go.
25 points as well that he's behind. He'll get, if he stays in the lead, he'll get every one of those points. So draw for third equal. Draw for third equal. Of course, no Nick Cole here today as well. They'll be able to catch those points as well. So Nick's glory, unfortunately, dropping, and that's a sad story. We'll talk about that one later. But here we go with the bike battle, and look at this from Sloane Frost, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, Chopper, out in front at the moment. Great run, Sloane Frost in the lead. White flag to go as we look out to the number 6 in there with Hayden Fitzgerald, Tony Rees, Craig Sheriffs. He tries to do the hard work, looks up on the inside, can't quite get there at the moment. In fact, all of a sudden he had to watch, because right behind him, of course, is Jaden Hassan, this man who's making all the moves and all the talk in New Zealand Superbike road racing at the moment. So good work out there. So we go to the Suzuki, the Honda, the 2 Suzukis, and back to the Honda of our earlier race leader, and James Smith back there, and then looking behind James to Linda McGee. And here is a rather lonely Dennis Charlotte, but don't worry, folks, don't worry. I don't believe there's anything wrong. I believe this is a man with his head on his shoulders. He wants a New Zealand champion so much, and he knows if he keeps out of all of their way and stays in these kind of places, it is still his, as long as he finishes in these kind of places. Perfectly educated, but maybe if it is a slight hiccup in some shape or form, and he could do better, all it'll do is it means he'll move up with him. But I know he won't want to race with him today.
He definitely said he had bikes set up. He says, we know where not to go, and unfortunately it looks like they've gone somewhere else, but the man's riding with his head and not trying to push the limits. Points are points, and with the absence of Nick Cole, it's good to be coming on. Here it is, Sloane Frost. What an absolute spectacular win. Second, won last weekend. Second was Hayden Fitzgerald, then Tony Rees, and Jaden Hassan comes through in 4th place. Craig Sheriffs has his best position this season on the 56 Yarnis Racing sponsored machine. That's Craig Sheriffs comes through in 5th place. James Smith goes through there, Linda McGee, and then we see the young man from Christ